Um, hi, hi everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm Pradnesh Gajbi. I'm founder and CEO of CryptoNokri.com. So today we have an educator, a software engineer, technical consultant, Ayush Banode. She works at Perficient as technical consultant. So she'll be, teaching us on about React.js for front-end development. So I would like to hand over this workshop to her. Ayushi, please.
Hello, guys. Hi. Thanks for inviting me and really excited. And thanks to all who are joining in today. So, yeah, before jumping into React, I would really like you to know that why we should, even bother learning React. So, React is one of the most popular front end JavaScript libraries for building web applications. And it is actively maintained by Meta. We get new versions every year. Recently we have got a React 18 version which has got tremendous changes, and it is fast, it is scalable, it is simple, and it is used to create large web applications wherein we can change data without reloading the page. So an example for this would be, in case of Facebook or Instagram, if we click on like button, the count increases, but the page doesn't get reloaded or something. The count directly gets increases. So yeah, so without further ado, let's dive into React. Okay, guys, so yeah, so let us start with React. So what is React and why should we learn it? As just we discussed, again, React is used for single page applications, and it has got a really nice reusable UI component. So wherein, like, if we have got multiple components, we have got 50 components, we make a carousel component, and then we can use it in different pages multiple times. So it really saves us the time of coding the entire component again. Also, it is used in major apps nowadays. So yeah, let's get started with React. So I'll be showing the slides in minified screen because we will be going back and forth to VS Code also. So how to get started with React, or rather I should say how to build your first React project. So for this, React has actually simplified us. It has given us this create React app template, or second is we can go ahead with building custom web packs, or we have also CDN links wherein we can simply put out the CDN link in our file and we can go ahead with React. Okay, so next is how React actually works. So as in the intro I said that React is fast, but how is it fast? So that is where this virtual DOM concepts come into picture. It is one of the major advantages for React. So whenever a component is mounted, a virtual DOM is created, which is a replica or a copy of the current UI. And whenever a state or a prop updates, another virtual DOM gets created which contains the recent changes. So now React has got two virtual DOMs. First is the previous one, and second is the current one, which has got the latest changes. Now React will run a diffing algorithm, and it will check which of the node is actually being updated. So here in this case, we can see that this third node is being added. So now uh, in the real DOM, only that particular node will be repainted. This process is extremely fast as we are not painting the entire UI again, but we are just repainting the changes. So here we have got only 4 5 nodes. What if we have like 50 or 60 different components in our page and only one of them got a change? So it would be an extensive operation to repaint everything again. So React has simplified that, and whatever node is updated only gets repainted. So that is virtual DOM. Components in React. So React actually components are heart of React. And in Facebook, it is said that it is built over 50,000 different components using React. The components in React gives us the power of reusability. And as I said, that if we make one carousel component, we can use it in 10 different pages. So it saves us the time of coding. Another concept in React is JSX. So if you can see the first snippet, JSX stands for JavaScript XML. In the first snippet, you can see that we have got HTML tag along with this ternary operation, which is in JavaScript. So it is JavaScript along with HTML. So it gives us power of both. So here, just there are minute catches that if we are calling any HTML attribute, so we should go ahead with the camel casing. And yeah, for class, we cannot use class in JSX. We need to use class name. Okay, so let's dive into React hooks. One more thing, React has got two types of components. One is a function-based component, and second is class-based components. Today in this session, we will be seeing function-based components because they are latest and now they are in use. Okay, so what is a state in React? So whatever update in React is a state. I'll just show it to you this with an example. So I have actually created these two components. One is without state and one is with state. So let me just walk you through it. In case of this without state component, you can see that we have got this variable title. And on click of button, we are just changing its value to changed title. Whereas in case of with the state component, we have got this use state hook, which is provided to us in functional component of React. And on click of the button, we are setting, or we can say we are updating its value to changed state. Let us have a look how actually this works. So a use state provides us with an array, which gives us with a variable which holds the value of state and a setter function which updates the value. Once the value is updated, that virtual DOM concept's coming to picture. So I think you guys can relate now how actually the DOM is updated. So now let us see the example. Just let me refresh. And yeah. So here we have got first example which is without state and second example which is with state. If I click on change title, you can see that that variable got changed on click of the button, but its value in the UI didn't got updated. And if I click, I'll just clear the console. And if I click on with state, you can see that the value got updated as well as the DOM got repainted. So this is why states are important, and this is how state updates. Okay, so next is what are props? React has got unidirectional flow of data, and that is due to props. Props are actually used to pass state down the tree from parent to child component. Like if I have got a parent home and I have got a child which is welcome, and our home is passing user details to welcome, so that welcome can show welcome user 1. So this is how we pass data, and they are read only, and no component whichever is using it should try to update props. So let us see an example of passing props. Here you can see that our state name belongs to component prop drilling, but we are sending that state to its child user. So we can name anything here, but here we need to mention whatever the value we are sending. So I could have like written XYZ here and it would have worked. Only thing I need to take care of when I'm calling this particular function, I need to call it with XYZ only. So this is a small change. And this is how we pass props. With props comes a concept of prop drilling. So let's have a look into it. Okay. So in the same file, I'll show you. Yeah. So in the same file, you can see we have got one component which is parent to all of these. Prop drilling example component. It is sending some value to our user component. Yeah, to our user component. This is our user component. Again, that user component is sending this prop name to its child component, which is use, and then this user info component is again sending that value to the user info name component, wherein this particular prop is actually being used. So, one thing to notice here, these two components had no use of of this prop name, but that the children had its use. That's why they had to send it. So this concept is called as prop drilling. And to save ourselves from prop drilling, we have two ways. One is composition, another one is context API. So let us first look what is composition. Okay. So, composition is like it helps us to save ourselves from prop drilling, as I said, and it has got certain fashion to write the components. In the previous one, we saw that we were directly passing name prop to whichever the child it belonged to. Now we have pulled the entire children in our composition, which was the most top parent. We have pulled all our children components here, and we are simply passing the prop to the component which needed it. But in the above, in these two components, just notice that there is this children prop which is going. So what is this children prop? Composition uses the special children prop to resolve prop drilling issue. Children contains everything that is wrapped in between a component. So let us see this via an example. Yeah. So here you can see that I have tried to log the children, and let us see what this particular child is giving us. So here you can see it has everything. It has everything that is wrapped between a component. We can even take classes from here. This is the specific thing which we are checking for, which is the prop, and our prop is name here. So this is the concept of composition, which is useful in case of prop drilling. Another one which I said is context API. So for this we use context hook. So for this we will dive deep into it when we will start our project. Okay. So another really useful hook which React provides us is the use effect hook. The use effect hooks lets us perform side effects in a function component, and that side effect can be anything like fetching data, setting up a subscription, or changing a DOM. So yeah, let us see how use effect works. Okay, so this is the syntax of use effect. So let us see what happens inside use effect. Use effect runs whenever a component is mounted. The first the first operation runs whenever a component is mounted. The second one is actually a cleanup function which use effect returns. And the third one is a dependency array. Now let us go one by one and check what they are. So let me just comment this, and we'll start with use effect. So here, what we are doing, whenever the component mounts, we try to alert. we try to make an alert. Also, just notice that we don't have any dependency array here, even not a blank one. So in this case, whenever there will be any state or prop change, our use effect will run alert function. So let us see with this with an example. I'll just refresh it. Yeah. So as you can see, our component got mounted and I was able to see this alert. Now, if I click on change name, I again see the alert. If I click on increase count, again I see the alert. So whenever anything is changing in our component, we can see use effect calling the alert. Another use case for use effect. So this particular use effect, wherein we are passing dependency array as blank. So what actually happens here? When we pass a blank dependency array to use effect, it will run only when the component is mounted. So let us again see this with an example. I'll just refresh it again. You can see our component got mounted and I can see this alert. Okay, now I'll just click on any state. You notice that I clicked it 10 times, our state updated 10 times, but the use effect didn't got called. The alert didn't got called. Even if I click on change name, the alert didn't got called. So this happens only when we are passing a blank dependency array. Anything inside use effect will run only when the component is mounted. This particular use case is extremely beneficial to us when we are fetching data from an API. So an example of this will be I have to create a news website which renders multiple news. I am calling a news API and that is returning me some headline and description of that news. So in that case, I wish to get to call the fetch only once, and that time I'll go ahead with this particular scenario. Okay. Now, what if I wish to update my DOM on change of some particular state? That is when this particular scenario will come into picture, when we will pass whatever this dependent state is in this dependency array. So now in this case, what will happen whenever the count will change, that time only the alert will be called. We have got two states. We have got a name state and we have got a count state. But only in case of update of count state, we will be seeing this alert. Let us see this with an example. Our component got mounted and we are able to see the alert. Now I clicked on change name. I didn't see any alert, but as soon as I click on increase count, the alert popped out. Okay, and how many? It doesn't depend. I can click on multiple times and I'll be able to see the alert. So whenever we need to conditionally render or like depending on state, we need to call some function, we can go ahead with this scenario. Now, as I said, we have got a cleanup function with React. Use effect gives us like it returns us a cleanup function. So yeah, so here I have three logs. One is inside use effect, another one is inside the cleanup function, and another one on the DOM on the component. Sorry. So use effects cleanup runs after next render and before the next use effect. This might sound little gibberish, so let us see this with an example. I'll just do a refresh. Okay, so as you can see, we the component got mounted, and that's why we are able to see the log. The use effect ran, so I am called from use effect, and the cleanup ran once. Okay, one thing to notice, we can see that I am called from use effect log twice. This is because of update in React version 18. So now in my dependency array, I have this count variable. So I'll just count state, sorry. In my dependency array, I have this count state. So now if I click on increase count, I can see cleanup, like I can see I am called from component, then cleanup was called, and then use effect was called. Let me clear the console and we'll see this again. I clicked on increase count. We got First we got a log from our component. So use effect runs after the DOM is painted. So that's why the component got mounted, and then cleanup function was called, and after that the function inside use effect ran. So that is why I said cleanup runs after the next render and before the next use effect. So after the next render and before the next use effect. So this was it for use effect hook. Next, we have again a very important hook of React, which is use reducer hook. So, use reducer hook is actually an alternative to our use state hook. But we should go ahead with use reducer hook when we have got very complex state logic or the states are actually dependent on each other. So, let us see an example. Okay, so this is an example for our use reducer hook. If I go to slide, we can see that use reducer hook takes in a reducer function and an initial state. So this is our use reducer hook, which is taking in a reducer function and an initial state. And it is giving us an array which has a state which holds the value and a dispatch method. Okay, so let's see one by one. First, let us see the reducer function. We see that the reducer function takes in two things, which is a state and an action. The dispatch method actually tells which action to be performed to the reducer. And then, depending on whichever action it needs to be performed, it changes the state and returns us. So, let us see an example of this. Here, we have got two states, a count and an action type state. So, if we are to click on decrement, the dispatch will give us an action type of decrement, and whatever is the value of our count, that will get decremented, and our action type state will get updated to decrement. If we are to click on increment button, then the dispatch method will give an action of increment, and so on and so forth. So an example of this will be, okay. So here I have got count, which is 0, and the action type as null because we haven't performed any action yet. If I click on increment, the value of the count got incremented to 1, and our action type state also changed. So basically this is same as this its function is actually same as use state, but when we have got complex state logic, we should go ahead with use reducer. Okay, one more hook which we will see is use ref hook. So use ref hook is actually just like accessing DOM nodes. So yeah, let us see this with an example. Okay, so an example for use ref hook. So when we call a use ref hook, we assign it to a variable, and here in our case it is input even. One more thing to note, we have passed in null here. We could have also passed nothing, but that would have given it a reference of undefined. So we are passing it as null. Then again, uh, what I'm trying to do at this case is whenever the button is clicked, I wish to focus my input, which I am accessing via my ref. I've also logged my current value and whatever the value is inside current. So let's just see this with an example. Okay. Okay. So if I click on focus, you see that this particular input dot current gave us that actual node. And if I am to type any value and click on the button again, I got its value. So we can go ahead with use ref hook when we need to access DOM elements via ref prompt, or when we want to store a value that is persistent among the renders. So these were all the basic hooks we were about to see today. Now let's jump into a project. So I'll just show you like quick walkthrough that what we are going to build today. So today we are building a DAO management system wherein we have got two logins, an admin role and a user role. So an admin can create a ticket. If I am to create ticket one, so the admin can create a ticket, and an user, okay, and a user can apply for that ticket. So here I'm logged in as a user and I'll click on apply. So my status has changed to waiting for approval, and it has also given me that I am the one who is the requester for this ticket. Now when we go to admin login, we can see that the ticket we raised on is waiting for our approval and we can approve it. So if I click on approve, then we got the owner assigned as the one who was requesting it. Yeah, so this is a simple project. Let's start with the project. I have this setup ready. Uh, for you to start from scratch in any folder you wish, just type this command npx create react app. If you wish to create a new folder, name your folder, or if you wish to build your setup in the same folder, just go ahead with the dot and click on enter. And this command will give you a build of React project. Okay, so I have made quite a bit of cleanup also. So let's start it. Let's get started. So in my app.js, I have called in this sign in component. My sign in component is a functional component. So let us see how we write a function component. First we import React from React. Then we write the function. We can go ahead with normal function or we can go ahead with uh, arrow function. This particular function actually returns us the div. So let us type return and it will return us a div with the anything. Hi from sign in. Again, we need to export this particular function to access it. And we got this hi from sign in. So let's get started. We'll start with our sign in component. So first of all, let us create a div and let us give it a class name of inform. Inside this, let us call, let us make a form. So, and a div with a class name of form. Let's give an h3 saying please enter your credentials. To sign in. Now let us create a form and give it a class name of 1, 2, 3. Now we'll provide it with input containers. So div, let's give this div a class name of It will contain a label tag having a class name of, let's make it as username. Next is we need an input to for the user to input its username. So the type of it will be text. Name, let us give it uname. This will be a required field and its class name will be, and similarly we'll just copy and change it for password. So I need password here. Type will also be password. Let us give it as pass, and it will also be a required field. If I hit on save, so yeah, a card has appeared, but our input button is missing. So let us add the button. Let us give it a class name of button container. Type will be submit. Class name will be, okay. So a skeleton for our sign-in card is ready. One more thing, let us provide the form with on submit. Let us call a function name sign in handler. Okay, this will do. Let us create the function or it'll give us an error. So first and foremost, since this is a form and we hate reloading in React, so what we'll do is, okay, just let me pass in an event here. Okay, so I'll just prevent that default behavior first. Event dot. Now we will access our username and password, which will be entered by the user. So for that, let us take name as uname, and it has a name of pass from document form. We could have used state here, but we are not updating our UI based on these two values. That's why I just went ahead with this thing. Now let us find user if that is present in the database. So for that we also need a database file. So let us create a folder, um, user details, and inside it we'll just create user database. Yes. So what this file will contain, it will contain all the user details and their roles. So here we have got three user one whose role is developer, user two whose role is also developer, and an admin user having a role of admin. I'll just simply save it and import it. So import user database. Okay. So React imported it for me. Great. Okay. Now, first, we need to check whatever the value user has entered, if that is present in our user database file or not. So for that, we'll just like loop over this entire array and check if that particular user is present or not. And let us save that. So user data equal to user database, and we'll use find method of array, and we'll just pass in. Now we will put the condition that user dot username. Okay, why we are going to use username? This particular thing, user dot username is actually equal to the value inside uname node. So uname dot value. If the user is present, then we will check on other details. So if this is actually true, that means if the user data is actually true, then we need to check if that particular user's password is equal to the password which is entered by the user. So for that, let us write a condition, and we will check that the value of user data, the password inside user data, is equal to pass value or not. So let us give, if not equal to, then we will just give it some error. Okay, I'll just write a comment. Return some error, and if it matches, then we will be creating a state which we need to mark it as true, that yes, the details matched. And also, we will be needing to pass that user details so that we can access it in our different components as well. So let's create that state. So our first state will be, so first state will be, let us name is submitted. Okay. And initially, let's keep its value as false. Okay, we are getting this squiggly line because we need to import use state. So there are two ways of importing use state. We can simply import it in this line, or we will see second method as well. So we need a user details state as well. Details and set user details equal to. Okay, so second method is react dot use state. So let's give it an initial value of null. Now, if our value matches, then we need to update this particular state to true, and we need to pass the value of that particular user to this particular state. So for that, let us set the is submitted value to true. Again, we need to pass the user's value to set user state. So let us make it an object, and spread will spread it, and then we'll update it. So we require role of the user. So role will be, we are getting it here. Yeah. So user data dot role. So here we will be getting the role of user, and then we also need username to show it when we are logged in. So let us give username. Okay, so Let us see if our component is still working. So I have this admin user. I have its pass. If I click on submit, then let us inspect and check on the value. Sign in. We can see a state as true, and the roles are also assigned. The username is assigned and the role is assigned. Okay. So now we need to take care of two things. First is that when the user is logged in, we need to navigate to a different view. Another is if there is some error, then we need to handle that as well. So let us first handle the errors. Okay, so let us create a state for errors as well. Let us name it as, I'll just use the use state snippet. Error message will be fine, I guess. And let's write it more descriptively. Just initially, let us keep it as an empty string. Now, if there is some error, then we need to pass in the error. But we also need to tell them that which particular thing is failing. So let us create a reusable object for this errors. So this will be like if username is invalid, then show us this error, that invalid username. And if password is invalid, then show us invalid password. So now let's work here. I'll just take our set state and I'll just pass it. Okay. So first name is let us write it as pass, and message just assign null first. Okay. So message will come from this. So error dot pass or dot name. I think name will do. Okay, let's keep it as password. Okay, so if I write, okay, I need to. So here beneath this div, I'll just call my set state if there is some error. So let us call error message dot message. Okay, let us create a function to return us error messages. Let that handle it. So I think render error message will do. And in case of this particular field, we will send it as uname. Why uname? Because we are writing it below uname, and similarly we will write a function beneath password, and that will be for pass. We also need to create the function, so yeah, let's create it here. So we are sending it some value, so let us take it as name, whatever the input field is. And so what we'll do is we will check if this name is actually equal to the name from our error message. So this name, if it is equal to error messages, okay. So here, what this particular function will do, it will return us with a div that will be printed here. So let us create a div. Let it give us a class name of error. Just render the error message here. Okay, perfect. Okay, let's check on this error. Cannot read properties of null name. Mm, we don't have anything. If we click on silo, we have an empty state. Hmm. So we called an error message. We provided it with that. Okay. So let's try to log. Okay. So we got username and pass. So we are able to access that. Are we able to access error messages.mo? Okay. So this particular thing is coming to us as undefined, and that's why we are getting this error. Messages. Why is it not pass? Pass is invalid. Error we are getting. Okay, so let us just hold on to the error for some time. And let us just continue with the logging functionality, and then we will just see what is happening with the render error messages function. Okay, so up next, if the user is able to log in, then we are updating this state submitted as true. Okay, so when the state is true, we need to like navigate to home page. So what we can do is, Um, okay, so if this is true, so let us wrap this inside a ternary operator. So this is our div, and let us wrap it inside an operator. So let us just take it out and let us just put it inside some container so that we can simply it won't create a mess in our div. Let us call it as a render form, and we will simply call our render form here. Okay, so it is coming. Now we need to wrap this inside a ternary operator. If that particular state, if the state is submitted, then we will show our home screen. If it is false, then we will show our render form. So let us go with that. We have a state called is submitted, which we are updating to true if the credentials matches. So yeah, so if this particular state is uh, true, then we wish to render our home page, or else we wish to render the form. So let us write something. Okay, so first of all, let us create a home component. Okay, cool. And let us return it over here. So home. You can directly import a component by clicking on Control Space together. Okay, so I have admin. I just cross it over. Admin one, pass one. If I click on submit, I'm able to navigate to home. Great. Obviously, I need some changes here. In my in component, I have got this header also. So let us create a header as well. Header. So whenever a user form is true and whenever the credential matches, we will render two things. We will render a header component and we will render a home component. Again, we need to wrap them. First of all, let us import it. Let us wrap it inside a div. Cool. So we have our two components here, header and home. Perfect. In case of our home component, we can see that we are also showing what is the user here. So we need to share user detail state to our home component. So I'll share it as a prop. So I shared user details as a prop to my home component. So if I navigate to home component, let us style it. So it will be accepting user details. And inside here, all we'll do is, yeah. So let us give this as a class name of home. And yeah, so if the user's role is of admin, then he will be able to see the add ticket form. Else, if its role is only developer, then only the list should be able to see. So let me give you a walkthrough. So since the role was admin, I was able to see the form, like the admin is able to create a ticket, and he's also able to see which tickets are present. If I sign out and I log in with user's credential, so you can see that user does not have a right to see the form, but he can see the list of tickets. So for that, we will check what is the particular role. So from this user details, we will access the role, and if that is admin, so in case of my user database, I have given role as developer and as of admin. So if my user's role is of admin, then I wish him to see a component named add ticket, we can say. We need to create it, or else don't show anything. Okay, so or else don't show any form, but ticket list will be present for both of them. So we need to create ticket list as well, a component name ticket list. Okay, so let us create an add ticket component first, and let us create another component which is ticket list. Let us import both of them. Perfect. Okay, so since I'm logged in as a admin now. I'll just show you. Okay, so since I'm logged in as an admin, that's why I was able to see add ticket and ticket list as well. And let us, okay, so let us refresh and log in as a user. So user one, password is pass1. Okay, so I'm not able to see add ticket component here. So we have achieved one of our functionalities. Okay, so now let us go ahead and create add ticket component. So let us work on our add ticket component. So our add ticket component will again be a form component, wherein there will be, just a minute. Yeah. So let me sign out. I'll log in as a user. So our add ticket component contains a title, an input box for the same, and a description, an input box for the same, and a submit button. So yeah, so I'll start ahead. Let us give it a class name of add ticket. Wait, container. Title will be, okay. So now let us create the form. The form will contain input box and a label, title. Label will be, well, just give it a class name of 3 text and a form label. We need input box for the same, so input box. Uh, Let us add a placeholder. Enter title of your ticket. Its type will be text. Uh, and for setting it, we will be using a state. So, and okay, just keep it as it is for now. And same will go ahead for description. Let us add classes to our form as well. Let us have a view. We need to log in with admin credentials. Okay, so this is our form. Okay, we need to change for description. And again, enter description of your ticket. Okay, we also need to create a button to submit them. And let us wrap our divs inside div as well, and this as well. Let us have a look at our form. Okay, so it is looking good. We need to style our header and then our ticket list. So let us first go with the header. Uh, Before that, let us add a class to our input as well, because I need it to be like extended to the screen. And same class we will be adding to a description as well. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for adding the ticket, we need a state which will contain the different values for a single ticket. So yeah, so that particular state will be like something which will which will like contain role of the particular user, or their title, obviously the title, description, status, um, requester, approval. So let us create a state snippet. Let it name as ticket. It will be an object. We need to import it. Let us write React here. So, okay. So first will be title. It will be an empty string. Second, we need a description. It will be an empty string. Then there will be status, which initial value will be open, and a requester and an owner, again empty. Okay, so requester status. Let us keep it as initial value of open. Requester, again an initial value of empty string and an owner. So whenever a ticket will be created, these two fields will be assigned. So let us work on that. Okay. So on change of input, we wish to set the state, right? So on change, we will be updating our state. Okay. So let us grab this state. I'll just make it D as capital. And since this is an object, we need to spread it first. So yeah, let us just spread the ticket state. And this is our title. So we will be setting title here. So e dot target dot. We will also set ID here. So either we can install a UUID package, or what we can do is date dot to string. This will also do. Again, same, we need to check add the description as well. So on change, let us spread. Okay, sorry, we need to take the setter function first. Spread our ticket state, and then we will update the description to b dot target value. So let us check. Perfect. In add ticket, we have a state which is empty as of now. So on click of submit, we wish to submit it. So for me, let us add an on submit handler. So this particular class will be responsible. So as we can see that our ticket list is actually an array of object. So this ticket belongs to a single ticket, whereas we need an array to store multiple tickets of this kind. So we will be creating a array for that. So let us name it as ticket list, set ticket list, and let us call use effect here, sorry, use state. That will be an empty array. So what we wish is on click of like on submit, we wish to push this particular ticket inside our ticket array. So let us just take const ticket and we will so we want new values to be at top. So what we'll do is we will spread our ticket first. Sorry, we will add our ticket first and then we will spread it. So in this way, our new ticket will be added on top. So let us check it. I can't ticket. Okay, so I can see that my title is getting updated. Now let us write ticket one. So my title got updated to ticket one. There's some spelling error. Description one. So even my description got updated to one. Perfect. And again, we have added the current date as ID. So we got that as well. And if I click on submit, oh, I forgot some really important thing, which is to adding a prevent default. So here I also need to add. So let us log in with admin credentials. Ticket one, description one, to list, and if we click on submit, okay, yeah. So in our array, we can see that description and title are getting added. Perfect. So our ticket form is working correctly. Now let us. So one more thing I wish to show you. Even if I add an empty object here, that will also be added. So even if I remove description as well, and if I, so yeah, so you can see an empty title and empty description ticket got created, which we don't wish to happen. So what we'll do is we will when while submitting, we will put a check If these two fields are present, then only submit the form. So let us wrap this thing inside an if statement. So okay, there will be condition and then we will be submitting. So what we want is uh, we wish to check if the value of that particular ticket is empty or not. So ticket dot title as well as ticket dot description. If these both values are true, then only submit. So let us hit save and try again. Now, if I try to submit, then you can, okay. So we have got only one state as blank here. Let us click on submit and you can see that no, like this particular state is not updating. Now let us add value as with value and with value. And if I hit on submit, then you can see that the value got added. Again, we can add a check if that particular ticket list contains the same title or so. So that is another part of the story. Perfect. So we have achieved a functionality. But during our presentation, I said that we will be using use context for this. So let us start with use context first because we need to move these states there. So let us create a folder for context first. It will contain a user context provider file. Okay, perfect. So again, we will import React to RFCE, and here we will be writing all our states. So till now, the states which we have created. So in case of add ticket, we created two states, which were these two. So let us comment it out from here. Just keep it here before, or it will just. So these two states, and then our use context provider. So we will need a provider. So, but before that, we will also need we will also be needing to call it. So const user context. So we created the context and we have added these states. Now we need to create the provider. So this will be user context dot provider, and we will send value over here. So we need to create this value as well, and this value will basically this is an object which will hold all these states, a reference to all these states. So uh, this ticket and its setter, again the ticket list and its set. So this is something which is the value object will hold. Again, in the composition we saw a special prop which was children, so we will pass it. And we also and we don't need a default here because we will be passing the context and provider both. So Okay, and what is the error? Is not defined. It is okay, it is not defined because we need to like pass it over here as well. Silly me. Yeah. So we have created a provider. Now, what we need to do is we need to wrap our app inside provider. Why so? We can simply wrap like we can wrap only one function, one component also under provider, but then if our app grows, then that will be cumbersome for us to check each and every component, which one needs a provider and which one does not. That's why we will simply wrap everything inside a provider. So I have got this particular sign in component, so I'll just wrap it this inside the provider. Okay, I imported the same. Now all the child component will have access to all the states which are present inside our user context provider. Okay, so now let us go ahead, and we need to make a few changes in add ticket. So that will be, we will be like deleting this, and we need to call use context hook here, and then with use context hook we will get the object of all the states which are present. So these values. So yeah, so let us call the use context hook. It will, we will pass a user context here. Perfect. And so as I said, it returns us an object of all the states which are present to us. So now wherever so in case of so even if these particular states are present in use context, we can now access it all over our components because we have wrapped our entire app inside, we have wrapped our entire like sign in, which is the parent component inside user context, so we can access it everywhere. Perfect. So now let us create a header. So for header we will be requiring the value of user details. So user detail was also a hook which we create, use state hook which we created. So let us pass that to let us pass these hooks also to our context, and we'll access them. So where is my context? Here it is. And I'll just import React rather than, okay. So simply just give all the state values here. Perfect. And we also need to send, we also need to import those values here. So just a minute. This. So these were my states which were required in my sign in. So const state, and we'll simply call use context, and we will pro user context. Perfect. Now let us check if everything is working fine or not. Close. Oh, just give it a hard refresh. Username was admin1, pass. Okay, sorry, it was pass1. Yeah, so working fine. Perfect. So now let us start with our ticket list. Okay, we have a small header thing. So let us first continue with header. So what header will do? Header will just like show us which particular user is being used. So have we passed user details hook by the way? No, we haven't. Okay. So where did we created a user detail? Perfect. we have passed user details as well. So we will simply access this particular user details hook in our header. And what we'll do is we'll just give a small uh, header which will say hello and welcome user. So hello, comma, let us okay, user dot username. Okay, username is not defined. Details dot username. So in case of my context, user details. Okay, I need to create an empty object here. I need to make few changes here. My user detail will actually contain username and user role. So user name, which will be blank, and role, which will be blank at first, and then it will set. So in my app, if I refresh and if I log in as an admin, it's undefined. Error occurred at header component. Username is undefined. Why is that so? Hmm. We okay, silly me. We need to. We haven't. Okay, so what happened here is whose child is header? Header is the child of sign in. We are not passing user details here. That's why it is saying that it is undefined. So let us simply pass it here. Or what we can do is, apart from this, we can simply use our use context hook here as well. So const object it is. So let us take user details. We don't need it here. And we'll call our react dot use context, and we'll give a user context here. Okay, now it should work fine. Okay, close. Let's give it a hard refresh. Admin 1, pass 1. Right. Perfect. It showed hello admin 1. Again, there are few things we need to take care of, like we also in case of our developed project, we also saw that there is this sign out button as well. So for that sign out button, uh, let us create a component named sign out, and sign out.jsx, and this sign out.jsx will contain nothing but a button. And so let us return a button from here, button. So this will say sign me out, and on click of the button, uh, we need to like, if you guys remember, we have this is submitted state, right? So if this particular state is true, then we are navigating to home page, right? To home, and we are able to add a ticket or ask for an approval. So we need to actually make this particular thing as false again, so if we wish to sign out. So for that, again we will just call our use context. So const, what's its name again, is submitted. Yeah, so we will be needing setter of this. And on click of this, let us make it as false. Again, need to check on one thing. Okay. So sign out will be a child of header. So we need to call our sign out button here. Oops, got some error. Let us see. Okay, so it is saying cannot update component while set state called inside traceback tree. Okay, so what we'll do is we will simply like okay, so what can we do here? So here we will just create a function, and then what we'll do is we will try to make it false via that function. So for that, यहाँ पे okay, so what we will do is let us try to pass it from here instead of there. So we will take it as a prop, or let us just make a callback function here. uh, Let us call it const sign out handler, and what we will do is we will just set it to false. So for that we will be needing this set as well. Set it to false. We will need to import it from here, and again we will be calling this function here and not this thing. Okay, so let us try now. Yeah, we need to pass it as a prop as well. Perfect. So it is saying sign me out, but I see that it is not working. Why? Sign out. Okay, we are getting a function here. So the function definition was sent here and not it. So that's why it is happening. Sign out handler we are passing and we are setting it as false. Okay, okay. So we didn't set that what it should show. So what we'll do is we'll just take it from here, and we will do this in our sign in form only. So let us take this function as a child in our sign in form, and in our sign in form, if uh, need it inside header. So we will be getting it here, and we will pass this function to our header. Let us give it a hard refresh. Okay, why is it not updating? Okay, so let me go again via the code. So what we did in our sign in, we created a submitted. Okay, and in our header, we tried to pass the sign out handler. The sign out handler is called here, and is defined here, and we are sending it as a prop. Now, in case of our header, if we go to our header, uh, we have accepted it as a prop, and in case and we are sending it as a prop to our child, which is sign out. So in case of our sign out, we are expecting it to be called in on sign out. So we are calling it uh, okay, so this was the issue, guys. Yeah, so once the function is sign out handler, we went to sign out handler only. But in case of here, I forgot to change it, and that's why this issue was happening. So again, if I refresh it, I click on I log in, I pass one. Okay, I think I entered the wrong password, pass one. And if I click on, yeah, so great. So now let us work on its CSS, and then we can move ahead. So CSS, for that we will be applying class btn and uh, few classes from web3. So if we go ahead and if I log in ahead, one, pass one. So yeah, it has changed. Again, we need to apply few classes to our header as well. So yeah, so let us go to our header component and add few things. So in case of our header component, uh, yeah, so we haven't added any class, so let us add a class of title here, and a class of w3 header. So if we go back, close, we can see it is present here. Again, we need to add few classes again to make it quite readable, but let's do that again. Okay, so since we have implemented functionality as well, so let us work on the ticket list. So in case of our ticket list, what we need, in case of our ticket need, we need two things which we are passing from our context, which will be these two states. So I'll be simply calling, I will simply be calling them perfect. And now all I need to do is I need to check if there is something in the ticket list. So let us change this to table, and let us create a table header, and inside this we will be rendering. So first of all, if the particular ticket list is present, if ticket list is present and it has a length, then we will show different table rows which will contain their head. So let us give it a class name of uh, blue 3 red. So that will be or if nothing is to be shown, then no new tickets. Okay, so now let's step by step add all the table heads. So first table head will be title, another one will be description, another one will be status, to see the status of that particular and apart from that we need a requester header, so that will be requester, and then there will be owner. Okay. And if all of these are present, then we need to display table cards as well. So, yeah. So, yeah, I can see squiggly line here because of this particular thing. Okay. So let us write a function of render ticket, we can say, and let us create that function const render ticket. And what we'll do is we will map over this ticket list, and we will send them one by one. So it will accept ticket element and a key. And yeah, so it will return us a ticket card component, which we need to create first. So let us create a ticket card.jsx, and let us call it here. So it will be ticket card. And as props, we will be sending it ticket, and also keys are very important when we are doing map in React. Why? Because if we don't pass key, even if there is an update or so, all the other divs which were already which were already like added will again be rendered. So id is used by React to know that okay, this particular component was re-rendered and we don't need to make changes in the previous ones. Okay, perfect. So let us go to the UI. Click on admin 1, pass 1, submit. Okay, I see some error. Yeah, so if there is nothing, then should like not break. Admin 1, pass 1. Okay, so now we will start adding ticket. Okay, ticket list. Perfect. Mhm. Ticket list is being called from our home. And okay, so since we are calling ticket list from home, we also need to send a ticket list. And so what we'll do is we will simply call our context here, or if we don't wish to call our context here, we can simply call our context in ticket list as well. So yeah, we can go ahead with that. Instead of calling it here, let us uh, const react dot use context and user context. Perfect. So you can see that multiple ticket card were present. So this is because we haven't rendered anything in ticket card yet. So the tickets are going there. That is good. So yeah, let us jump to our ticket card, and let us accept ticket here. Okay. So now in ticket card, what we need to do is we will be actually rendering table header, table row, which will be rendering table datas. And here we will be calling different attributes which are present inside our ticket. So ticket dot title, and then there will be a ticket description. Then we will be needing status and approver and owner. So status approver owner. So let me write approver here. Uh, okay, it was not approval, it was requester and owner. Ticket card, requester, and then owner. If I hit save and if I go back, yeah, I can see ticket one, and its status as open. So let us add classes here. So class for this will be ticket card, and class in ticket list. We have added classes. We need to add a class in table, which will be class name. Um, Again, go back, and this is our table. So perfect. Now we need to add a button when the status is open. So we will do that in ticket card. In case of ticket card, if the status is open, then we will render a button. So let us add a ternary operator here. We will check if the status is open, and if the status is open, uh, we will render a button which will say apply, and this button will actually change change the status. So if not, then we will just say waiting for approval. So let us write waiting for approval. Let us write a function here to like change the status on click. So that will be, let us name that function as apply ticket handler. Ticket apply handler. So it will be sending. Okay, so we will be sending ticket ID here. Why? Because we need to map over the ticket list, and we need to check which particular element is actually being clicked on, and then we will change its status. So let us work on this particular function. So const ticket handler, uh, let us write this function. It is accepting an ID. Okay, so now what we'll do is we need to map over the ticket list. So for that, we need to actually access ticket list. And okay, so let us access it via our context, or just a minute. Ticket list we have here. No? So what we'll do is we'll just simply send it as a prop. And this as well. Perfect. We need to accept them there. Ticket and set ticket list. Okay. So now what we'll do is to check if we can apply or not. So only the uh, role of developer can apply for the ticket, and if admin clicks on apply, he will be getting an alert. So let us first handle role thing. So if we okay, so for that we need user also. Okay, let's just access our context here, and user details. So user details. Mhm. Okay, and we need to import user context. Perfect. So if user context dot role is of admin, then only show that waiting for approval, or else okay. So here what we are checking is that the that this particular ticket does not have any owner, and ticket dot status is actually waiting for approval. So for this, we first, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So for this, we first need to set the status as waiting for approval also. Uh, okay. So for that, um, yeah. So let us add a button for requester, but let us first handle ticket apply handler only. So who can apply? The person whose role is developer, and if there is no owner, and if the status is open. So uh, if the role is developer, and if there is no owner, also if ticket dot status is equal to open, then what we will do, we will just map over the entire state, and we will just set that to okay. So we what we will do is, so we will be updating ticket list as well, because its element is updating now. Map over the ticket list and check which particular element has got the same id as the one which we have clicked. So element, now check if element dot id is actually equal to the id which we are getting here. So if this is true, then return like spread the entire ticket, update the status of that ticket as waiting for approval, and also we will update the requester. Just let me check in the spelling. Yeah, requester, perfect, as the current username. So user details dot username, or else if not the case, then simply return the element. Also we need another button, but let us first see this. So if I click on apply, go here, if I click on apply, so this is my ticket detail. If I click on apply, okay, ticket list, trying to access ticket one. Okay, are we getting any error in our console? Listener fetcher produced right hand side of instance is not an object. Okay, key prop. Child should have a key prop. We are sending the key prop. Mm-hmm. Let us access this via props only. We are sending it here. Let's give it a hard refresh. Then one. Hit one, one, submit, and ticket two, submit. Now let's sign out. Login as user one, pass one, submit. Perfect. So now let's check for this particular component. If I click on apply, then the status is changed for waiting for approval and the requester is changed to user one. Now we need the same functionality for admin to approve this particular requester. So in case of requester, what we will do, if this particular requester is present, then we will render a button which will say approve. So let us go ahead with that. So if this particular requester uh, is present, like it has some value, or if the status is waiting for approval. So if the requester has some value or if the status is waiting for approval, we'll just add both of them. So ticket dot status is equal to this. Also also one more thing we need to take care of, that only and only the the admin is allowed to approve a ticket. So we will also check if the particular user is admin or not. So user detail dot role is equal to admin. Then we will render a button. So just copy this button. uh, Let us write approve handler, or ticket approve handler. Again, we will be sending id to it. And or else, if not the case, then we will just return ticket dot requester. If not approved, then we'll just return the requester. We are getting squiggly line, it is saying expected that. Okay, got it. Mhm. We don't have, so let us make this function, close it down. Const equal to, again we are sending id, so we will access id. And now what we'll do is we will check if our current role is user. So user details dot role is equal to admin, and if there is no owner to the ticket. Also we can add a condition that the status is still waiting for approval. So here it is. So ticket dot status is equal to waiting for approval. So if it is so, then map over the list, and again the same, check in if the particular element's id is equal to the id which we are clicking on. So if the element dot id is actually equal to the id in which we clicked, then return. So first of all, just update the like spread the entire element, the title, the description, everything. We will change the status to assigned, and we will change the owner to the one who was requesting it. So let us write element dot requester and return the element. So user one has asked for approval. Now let us sign out. Admin, sign in as admin. We can see that it has got approved. If we click on approve, the ticket got assigned to the approver. So yeah, guys, this was it. Even if we if we apply with different, so I have another user here. So pass to, and if I apply with it, then again the requester is user two, and if I log in with admin, I can approve it, and his username will be assigned as the owner. So yeah, that's it, guys. That was it for this small project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayushi. If anyone has any query, please ask. I should still there. So we'll have few more minutes. You can type in the comment section. Anyone? Okay, no problem. Thank you so much, Ayushi, for wonderful workshop. I think our learners will learn a lot of things from this, project. Yes, it was beginner friendly. Many people commented that thing. Okay, so
Thank you.
thank you for joining, guys. For support, showing support for this workshop. Okay, and yeah, this is all about reactors workshop, and we'll have again few more workshops on blockchain development, mostly on solidity, or even we'll try to bring for Solana as well. Okay, we'll have two more workshops on one will be on Node.js, and one will be on full stack. Okay, so hope you guys will attend those workshops and learn. And we are going to organize a hackathon on 23rd and 24th of July. Okay, so attend that hackathon, try to solve the problem statement, and yeah, try to win that as well, like, because we are inviting a lot of companies will be seeing your like projects or the solutions which you will be building for problem statements. Okay, so like you will get chance to like get internship opportunity, job opportunities. So yeah, this is all like I wanted to say. Okay, thank you again, Ayushi. Thank you everyone for joining. Good night. Okay, so sleep tight. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.